So I want to talk about second citizenships and the absolute importance of why, if you travel and work globally, you need to have two citizenships. Because a lot of people understandably don't really understand. So let's use the recent events in Dubai as an example. Lots of people from Europe, America, etc. relocated to Dubai over the last 20 years. And more often than not, they had a residency permit. The reason they had a residency is Dubai and the Middle East in general don't really give citizenship. You can get it on merit. I know a few people have applied and via various donations and working for government have got it, but it's pretty rare. The vast majority, 95 to 99% of people, when they move to the Middle East, will get a residency permit. And you think that's pretty good. I'm safe. I have my residency, I can work here, I can live here, I can buy property, I can invest money, and I'm safe. I have a residency. But a residency does not make you safe, because when you're a resident, you are effectively a guest. You're practically a tourist. You're a tourist who has the right to stay in that country a long time, but you are effectively a guest, and guests can be kicked out, and it happens. Or, in what's happened with Iran, Middle East, people, the residents, are choosing to leave just for their safety, or even if it's temporary, they're leaving. They're going back to their home countries. And what they found out is, despite having a residency, the moment you leave that country and you go back to your home country, you are then subject to your country's home tax. And if you have built a life, built a business, you've got your kids in school, you've got everything organised, and you're expecting one income, that income will change significantly if you have to relocate. If you have to go back to England, for example, if you're a high net worth individual, you will suddenly be paying 40% of your income to the government. And that may not be sustainable. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to pay money to government. You should support the country you live in. That is a fact. And if you're living in Dubai, you are supporting Dubai. You may not be supporting it in large tax, but the money you spend when you go out and have coffee, go to a restaurant, buy an apartment, hire a car, you are investing in the country. And Dubai, well, their view is, no, we're happy. We don't need to take a large part of your earnings as well. We make a lot of money, and by coming here, moving your wealth, you are contributing in a different way, which works for us. The maths in our country allow you to do that, whereas in England, the maths are different. You can't just turn up, spend some money. They will need to take 40% of what you earn. And that is not sustainable for a lot of people. So that is why a Plan B citizenship comes into place. And this is why it's so important. So if you had moved to Dubai, you were running a business there, all is good, but you're a resident and you have to move back to your home country, that's a problem. But if you had a second citizenship, if you had done this, for example, if you had said, I'm going to be a resident in Dubai, I'm not going to be a citizen there because I can't, but I will be a resident. But I've purchased a second citizenship. I've purchased a citizenship in the Caribbean, or I purchased a citizenship in one of the islands in the Pacific, Vanuatu or Nauru, somewhere like that. You would have a second citizenship. And why is that important? Well, that would give you sovereign protection. So if you had left Dubai right now and you could say, okay, I'm going to leave Dubai, I'm going to be a citizen in Europe, I may not go back to England, I might go to France, I might go to Spain, I might go to Asia, I might go to South America, because I am also a citizen in the Caribbean. I hold a St. Kitts or Grenada passport. And by that passport, I have a citizenship, and that citizenship, combined with residency somewhere else in the world, means my income is, at a tax rate I can afford, because there is zero tax in St. Kitts or Dominica and all of these countries. There are local taxes. If you work there and you earn money within the country, you have to pay tax. But if you are an international citizen, if you hold the citizenship but don't actually live there, your international earnings are tax-free. So you could simply leave Dubai, you could live somewhere else on a residency, but your income remains tax-free globally. Now, of course, you will want to go home to your home country, whether it's Canada, America, UK, etc. Well, you could. I think the laws change. You have to follow the law. But I think in England, if you're in England for less than 180 days a year, you have a non-dom tax status, and then your global income is tax-free, just like it was when you were in Dubai. If, however, you move back to England and make it your residency again, then you have a large tax bill. And a lot of people just were unable to plan for that. I don't want to call it stupidity, it wasn't. I think it was bad advice, because I know plenty of situations. People went to the Middle East, they set up business, they got a nice apartment, a nice house, they went and bought themselves a nice Range Rover, but they didn't plan a proper second citizenship. They built their life on a residency, not a citizenship. And I put it to you, if these people had simply, instead of buying a Range Rover, they could have bought a passport. They could have used that same money. Vanuatu, I think, is around in fact I know, it's $100,000 at the moment for a passport. So for the price of a Range Rover, you could acquire a passport in the South Pacific, gives you sovereign protection, and then you could use that as your global base as a citizen. You don't even need to live there, you just hold the citizenship, and that will give you a plan B. But the other thing is the banking. This is what is very important. Because, and I don't talk about my American friends here, if you hold an American passport and you try and open a bank account in Europe, you'll probably get a flat no. Even London may decline you. And then, certainly Switzerland is not going to really welcome an American passport. Some banks do, but most don't. And most of the banks in, say, South America and Asia will not favour an American passport, because America does not like you opening bank accounts outside America. They make it very, very difficult. But if you have your second citizenship and you stroll into a bank in Europe, you go to Geneva or Asia, and you've got your St. Kitts passport, well, that's different. That's not an American passport. It's like, citizen of St. Kitts, yes, you're very welcome to hold your bank account with us. You're welcome. But also companies like Wise, a lot of the fintech banks, which, okay, they don't give you the best rates and they're not ideal to hold wealth, but they're brilliant for day-to-day spending money when you travel. They'll welcome a St. Kitts passport, or an international passport. So all crypto exchanges, if you want to hold some money in crypto and you had a residency, you will still be opening a crypto exchange with your original passport, whereas England, America, whatever. But if you had your second citizenship, you could own your crypto through that second citizenship. So there's a number of reasons why Plan B is so important. A Plan B, second citizenship, is very important. If you want to truly protect your global wealth, your security and your safety, just relying on a residency, just moving into a country and being a resident is not enough. It does not cut it. You need to have a citizenship to go with that. You need to combine the two. If you would like some further information, we're happy to help. In fact, at Frederick Capital, you can just go on our website. I'll show you here, if you can see. We have a list of countries where you can buy a citizenship. It's pretty easy. We also have countries you can buy a residency, and the plan is you combine the two. But if you'd like any advice on this, just let me know. You can reach out to me in the comments or check the links in the bio. You can add me on LinkedIn, you can message me at Frederick Capital, but I consult on second citizenships and how to acquire them. That's what I do, and I'm happy to help.